game reaction.
Oh, hell yeah.
This is Dubs OT.
Can't wait.
With John Dickinson.
Hey, JD, what you up to, sugar? Long time no talk to.
On KNBR 104.5 and 680. Streaming live at KNBR.com and on the KNBR app.
Called it on the floor, so not on the shot. Kobe Brown, third-year man out of Missouri, into the clips. Hello. There you go.
Right on cue.
Yep. Let's say about Steph-like things happening out here.
Yeah.
Steph-like things happening throughout the course of the evening inside Chase Center. We welcome you to Harmonic Brewing in Thrive City. It's John Dickinson here. Dubs OT with JD. Warriors get themselves another blowout victory, and it didn't look like it was going to be a blowout based on where the game was at halftime. Maybe early. Warriors built a 15-point lead early in this one, led 40-25 as well early in the second quarter, but then the second quarter belonged to the Clippers, but the third quarter belonged to the Warriors. They completely flipped the game there. Some inspired defense along with a Stephen Curry takeover in that quarter. Jimmy Butler making some things happen, and the Warriors for a second straight night end up winning and winning relatively comfortably. Final score 98-79 Warriors over the Clippers as Golden State wins against the Clippers for the first time since. I had to give this one to our buddy Kyle Haar, who's back in our San Francisco studios. First time since the very first Dubs OT show, November 30 of 2023. That's the last time the Warriors beat the Clippers. It's 7 straight. They got beat, did the Warriors the final 3 games head-to-head of the season series 2 years ago, and then were swept in the season series against the Clippers last year, losing 0-4. So the Warriors winning for the first time against the Clippers, going all the way back nearly 2 full years on the calendar. 808 KNBR is the number, 415-808-5627 to give us a call or shoot us a text here on the Sports Leader. The Golden State Lumber and Showroom text line is open, and the best YouTube chat in sports. Yeah, we're ready to roll right at the final horn for this one. No little walk over to Chase and you know, delay the setup a little bit. The Warriors made it comfortable enough to where we could get everything set up a little bit ahead of time, and it is wonderful to be here at Harmonic in Thrive City. So cheers to Shay, cheers to Mike, who are behind the scenes here and doing the pouring tonight for those who are already starting to file into Harmonic Brewing in Thrive City, even after this 8 p.m. local time start, not usual for the West Coast at all, but the game much tidier than last night. I think it ended up about 2 hours and 13 minutes. Last night was about 2 hours and 30 minutes, so a much quicker, tidier game for the Golden State Warriors and the Clippers tonight. 808 KNBR, the number. Some thoughts on this one. We talked about it right out of the chute. Steve Kerr went back to the bigger starting lineup that he deployed in Portland on Friday. And I said it at the time, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I reiterated it last night. Just run with the group that has been your best group in terms of starting to begin this season. That was kind of my take on it. Get Steph out there with Pajemski and Jimmy Butler. Jonathan Kuminga's played terrific basketball the first week of the season here, along with Draymond Green, but against teams that feature more of a true big, and Ivica Zubac absolutely annihilated the Warriors last year. And so they went with a big, and the player of the game tonight, any night and every night, you obviously can give it to Steph Curry, and Steph was fantastic in this game, especially in the third quarter. But you look at Steph, the plus-minus leader for the Golden State Warriors tonight. Kyle, you want to take a guess? You probably already know.
Quentin Post.
Quentin Post. Yeah. Quentin Post, a plus 34. He gets the start going up against Zubac, and it really allowed the Warriors to mitigate the impact of Ivica Zubac, who's been somebody, had his 14 and 13, but he was a minus 14. I thought they really spread him out, stretched him out, and it was fantastic, the job that the Warriors did in minimizing his effectiveness. So Kerr goes back to the big lineup, same one as in Portland. Draymond was roaming around defensively early. He was guarding Derek Jones. Kuminga was on Harden. Draymond hit a three right out of the gate. Kuminga with a nice move early, a little step through on Harden, didn't settle for a fadeaway jumper. Also a nice backdoor cut pass to Steph Curry. Warriors are up 14-7 in the first 5 minutes of this one. They push it all the way out to 27-12. And Quentin Post was a major factor, not only in the first quarter run that allowed for the Warriors to jump out to the 27-12 lead and then the 40-25 lead, but he was big in that third quarter as well after the Clippers had spent the second quarter getting back into the game. Post out there with that starting group, and that starting group put their foot down and put their foot on the Clippers in the third quarter to allow the Warriors to get a victory. So, Harden was doing his thing in the first quarter, but no other Clipper really did much of anything in that first quarter, and the Warriors were up after leading by 15, 33-25 on a Brandon Podziemski buzzer beater going into the second quarter. Now, the second quarter started great for the Warriors. They scored the first 7 of the quarter to push up to that, at the time, largest lead of the night, equaling it at 40-25. Podziemski's maybe best minutes and best stretch of the season, an unbelievable sequence where he hits a layup on the other end after a chase down block of Chris Paul. And let me tell you, for all of the Warriors have a propensity to maybe look a little bit old, the Clippers, I thought tonight, looked a little bit old. Brook Lopez looked a little bit old. Chris Paul looked a little bit old. I thought there were moments in this game where James Harden, even with 20 points tonight, was not the dominant type James Harden that we've seen with so much regularity. And I think a lot of that goes to the Warriors. But, second quarter got ugly for Golden State. It was a 24-6 close after the Warriors had been up by that 40-25 count. It was a lot of the bench. Al Horford did not play well tonight, in particular in the second quarter. He was a little bit better when he got some run in the second half. But, Horford really struggled mightily. At minus 23 in the first half. GP2 struggled. He was out there. Both of those guys were out there with Curry toward the end of the half, and the Clippers really grabbed control. Could Steve Kerr have gone back to Quentin Post? He's trying to give that big lineup some run to close the quarter. Warriors didn't get drubbed with the big lineup that finished the Denver game, but they did get outscored 5-2. So the Warriors down after leading by 15, a -3 going into the third quarter. Third quarter, everything flipped. As bad as the end of the second quarter was, the third quarter was great. Warriors have been averaging 35 points in the third quarters this season. They've been dominant. They've been making adjustments. They've been looking to make things happen. And Stephen Curry's been a big part of that too in a lot of these third quarters. But Post begins the second half with a three-pointer after he'd hit a couple of threes in the first half and shooting it confidently. Steph Curry, when it looked as if maybe the Clippers were going to cement themselves and take control of the game, Steph Curry, we got to point him out at the beginning of the third quarter. Steph Curry assisted or scored on the first 14 points of the third quarter. And that not only allowed for the Warriors to hang in the game, but it allowed for the Warriors to start to get out to a little bit of a lead. And then the Warriors were able, throughout the remainder of that third quarter, to just take it over. A 22-12 start. They were playing defense, and they were beating the Clippers like a drum in transition. And that was really something that I think was part of the equation for the Warriors most of the night. Only 17 fast break points, but they really pushed the tempo and got into their early offense and their half-court offense, I thought, really effectively. But it was the third quarter defense along with Steph Curry at the beginning that allows for the Warriors to take control. 30 24 in the third quarter. The Warriors go from down 3 to up 15 going to the fourth. Then they push it up to 20. And this thing was a wrap earlier than even last night's game was a wrap. 90-70 with 6:15 to go. And that's basically when Ty Lue called off the dogs and waved the white flag for the Clippers. A little bit of back and forth, some heavy mop-up time there. Warriors were up 24 and end up winning this one by 19, 98-79 is the final. So 808 KNBR, 415-808-5627. Golden State Lumber and Showroom text line is open. We'll get to some texts here, as well as the best YouTube chat in sports as the Warriors improve to 4-1 on the season. Great start in the first week. You look at the schedule the Warriors had in terms of the 5 games in 8 nights with the 2 back-to-backs, the Lakers, the Nuggets, and the Nuggets and the Clippers to me are the 2 most important games of this stretch because those have been 2 teams that have really handed it to the Warriors over the last couple of years. And for the Warriors to get both of those games against both of those teams and to sweep this back-to-back relatively comfortably, that's an impressive start. 3-0 at home to begin the year, and now 10 of the next 12 are going to be away from Chase Center. So I think getting off to a real strong start this first week of the season for the Warriors, considering what's ahead, some local, some light travel to Portland and down to LA, some light travel to begin the year, plus the 3 home games. I think that was the most important deal to get to 4-1. Really, really strong beginning. And tonight was one of those games where it didn't come down the stretch where the Warriors really were needing the heroics from Steph Curry. But Steph brought them in the third quarter to prevent it from becoming a game where they needed the heroics in the fourth quarter. Warriors really moving the basketball and again, winning this game, I think, with their defense. But if you had to pick an MVP for the Dubs in this game, I think you got to go with Quentin Post and his game high plus minus of plus 34. If you're not going to give it to Steph Curry, and I think you always have to kind of give it to Steph Curry. 808 KNBR, let's get Drew down up first here. Dubs OT with JD on the phone lines. And Tracy here tonight, as Drew down always is. We appreciate him chiming in here and being our tip-off caller on the Sports Leader. What's going on, Drew down?
Hey, what's up, JD? Man, what a big win for the Warriors. I'd be lying if I said I didn't have a little PTCD at halftime. That's post-traumatic Clipper disorder from all them blown leads they had against them last year. I know it was at least 2 or 3, so I was a little worried, but they definitely took care of business. And like you said, man, you got to shout out Quentin Post. Plus 34, his energy, his toughness. He wasn't getting bullied around, man. He showed up tonight. He was hitting big threes. Those back-to-back threes he hit, early in the game were awesome. And I've seen a little slander early on in the year about Quentin Post, and he definitely showed up big tonight. And then Jimmy Butler, man, what can you say? I know, like you said, Steph had that big third quarter, but Jimmy Butler in that fourth quarter in the non-Steph minutes, I think the Clippers cut it to 12 at some point, and then Jimmy just said, "Give me the ball, get out of my way." Hit some big shots, help calm the offense down, and really close the door on the game, I thought, with no free throws. That's very un-Jimmy-like. So I thought Jimmy was super clutch, down the stretch. And Harden, go flop your little butt back to L.A. and enjoy the crazy horse. Night.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Thanks for the call. Yeah, Jimmy Butler tonight, kind of an underrated, understated Jimmy Butler, plus 20, but he goes 21, 5, and 5. And 9 of 12 shooting as well. It was kind of a quietly dominant, understated Jimmy Butler game in 32 minutes. And I'm with you as to the way it played out at the beginning of the fourth quarter, where it looked like the Clippers maybe were going to inch their way back in the game. I think the final put away there from the Warriors was Jimmy Butler's ability to do it. So, yeah, Curry, Jimmy, Draymond tonight was flying around. I mean, he was right there close to Quentin Post in terms of the overall plus minus. We're really talking about the starters, though, in this game that were the story of it. And, Steph plus 16 doing what Steph did. Again, I thought he commanded that third quarter. Jimmy plus 20, Draymond plus 29, Quentin Post, the game high, plus 34. And then Kuminga a plus tonight. Moses Moody a plus 18 in this one. Kuminga ended up being a plus 9. So across the board, not necessarily the best night overall from the Warriors bench, and some of the groups in that mid-second quarter kind of flipped the game into an uncomfortable position for the Warriors. But all in all, it was the Warriors starters with Post included and Moses Moody who really helped Golden State get the job done. Brandon Podziemski as well. Podziemski plus 10 in this one. So, yeah, really a nice night all across the board to turn this thing into a blowout type victory over the Clippers at 98-79. 808 KNBR, appreciate Drew Down for getting us going. 408 chiming in here on the Golden State Lumber and Golden State Lumber and Showroom text line. JD, do you think that's the Warriors' most complete game by a mile? I think it has to be, although can it be truly complete when you get dominated the way the Warriors did in the second quarter? But, yeah, I think all told, the ability to overcome it, I still think it was. Yeah, I mean, they looked like they were going to lose the Denver game. I thought I thought the Laker game was pretty complete, actually. I think the Laker game was real strong. I didn't think there was any moment, really, where I thought the Warriors were going to lose that game. So maybe the Laker game gets a nod. I thought, obviously the Portland game was pretty close to an all systems fail, as close as you get. But, yeah, I think it's between this game tonight, which turns into a blowout, and that game the last Tuesday, basically, in LA, where, again, tonight I thought, they could lose this game when the Clippers are taking control of it there toward the end of the second quarter. And how are the Warriors going to come out in the third? And that's why I thought what Steph Curry did was so freaking critical, to be able to just keep the game right within arm's length until the Warriors could get on a little bit of a run of their own. So, yeah, great stuff from the Warriors. I think this is definitely in the conversation for most complete games of the season for Golden State. Kyle, let's get to some early Kyle's clicks here. It's the best YouTube chat in sports. We got Billy Joe and Alamo, by the way, stopping by for the first time. I just want to say, and it is Billy Joe's birthday as well. Billy Joe and Alamo in the Klay Thompson jersey, having a cold one, and we appreciate it here on Dubs OT. But Kyle, let's get to it. Let's go a little rapid fire here to get things going in the YouTube chat before we take our first time out. Robert Brown, Clippers look like a team on the back-to-back. They did at the beginning of the game and at the beginning of the third quarter. They really did, and they played their home opener, I believe, on Sunday down in Inglewood. And, yeah, I mean, you just look. I mean, the field goal percentage, Clippers shoot a little under 37. They couldn't hit anything from three-point range. The Warriors out-assisted them. I mean, the Clippers are much more of a isolation-based team, but 24-10 in terms of assists. And the Warriors bench did the job in terms of scoring as well. So they won that aspect of the game impressively. But, yeah, all in all, I think the Clippers had bounced back after the game, their first game on last Wednesday in Salt Lake City. I was like, what is going on here? The Clippers just got absolutely drubbed by the Jazz in their first opener, in their opener. So they had bounced back. But yeah, I thought the Clippers tonight, for all the chatter about, the Lakers are the unks and the Warriors are the unks, it's interesting because I think it was, the Clippers, I think, look like maybe they joined the unk convention there a little bit. I guess Friday was the Clippers home opener. I'm being told here, and I appreciate the nod in the chat on that as I was going back. All these days are running together. All these days are running together on me right now with the 5 games in 8, and I had a 6th one wedged in there in Houston between the Warriors, or between the 49ers and the Texans on Sunday morning out here on the West Coast. So let's continue on the phone lines. 808 KNBR. Eric in Millbrae next. And Estimated Eyes pointing out Clippers look like they all hate each other. Yeah, I don't know about that one, but they definitely have some new pieces on that team, and I think they're going to have to figure out how to get everybody on the same page with some of the veterans. But yeah, they looked a little old tonight, which I think is something to file away as we move forward here into the season. All right, let's get Eric and Millbrae. We'll pepper in some more chats here in our first segment, but we want to get to the calls here as much as possible in the first segment of the program. What's going on? What's going on, Eric?
What's up, what's up, JD? Really impressive win coming off the pounding of Memphis last night to against a team tonight in the Clippers who have really given the Warriors a lot of matchup problems and really taking it to them. So even though it was sloppy there in that second quarter where they allowed the Clippers to take that out, I thought that was impressive so far this season. The second half where they just come out and dump them. I really like the way the defense really fought them down, really suffocated the Clippers, and hell of a game. I'm liking this kid. I think he's got potential. Jimmy Bucket's doing his thing. I thought Curry obviously controlling the flow of the game there in the second half and really blowing this lead open. I thought it was really impressive not to let down because the Clippers have really been a thorn in their side, and to really get 2 back-to-back blowout wins, I think that's the Warriors got to do. You got to take care of home court. Chase Center is rocking. When they get rolling there, there's nothing like it in that building. So if you're the Warriors, you want to at least win 2 out of every 3 games that are Chase and split the road games. So now they're going to go on the road against a very tough Milwaukee team, and so we'll see how they do. But as far as taking care of their business on home court, I like what I see out of this team, and hopefully they take this mentality on the road. You want to be a top 3 seed because we know how much of a gauntlet the Western Conference is, and 2 of the teams you're going to be battling with are going to be 2 of the teams that just beat in Denver and the Clippers, and even Memphis is probably going to be somewhere in that top 5 to 6 seed. So that's a good challenge so far, and I like their mentality and the way they're rolling right now. Just no letdown, and I think that Kerr's got to instill that in them because remember last year they got that hot start and they tailed off, but I think this is going to be different mentality with this team, especially with Jimmy Buckets here for the full season. So a hell of a win tonight, and let's keep it rolling, man. Impressive.
Yeah, you gotta stack wins any way you can when you can, because you don't know what the trajectory of the season is going to be in terms of injuries. And the Warriors right now, other than DeAnthony Melton, are healthy, and so you have to take advantage. And they were going to get 3 of the first 5 at home, and now they're going to get 10 of 12 away. And it is not going to be any picnic in terms of a lot of these games. I mean, Milwaukee and Indiana, and then they come back for 1 game against the Suns before going to Sacramento. The Kings are off to a pretty poor start, and they have a tough schedule. That's going to be a second of a back-to-back. Then you go to Denver, you play Indiana again, and then the road trip that begins in 2 weeks from tonight, they go to OKC and then San Antonio for 2. They play San Antonio on a Wednesday night, the 12th, and then on a Friday, the 14th in November. Then the Pelicans and then Magic and the Heat. So there's some winnable games in there, but there's also some tough games before the Warriors come back home the week before Thanksgiving, and then they'll be home all the way through the Thanksgiving weekend and to the first part of December before they head back out east to begin December. And then you get into play-in tournament schedule mode, and we'll see how everything shakes out as it relates to that. 808 KNBR, Danny in Vancouver is up next here on the Sports Leader. Danny, appreciate the phone call, my man. How are you doing this evening?
I'm good, my friend. How are you?
Doing well. Good night for the Blue Jays. Good night for the Warriors. I don't even know if you're a Blue Jays fan, Danny, but
it's
good night.
Kind of Canada's team. It's Canada's team now, so I'm there. That was a great game. It was a great night. Warriors and Blue Jays. I thought for sure with Ohtani pitching and just so dominating, but I think maybe that there was some effects from that playing 2 games last night, basically. But anyway, I know we're going to talk. We're going to talk about that. Great game tonight. I was. I'm appreciative you pointed out Post right away because I just thought he looked so good. I've always kind of been high on him, but I was watching. Did he get burned on defense? No. I mean, did Zubats just put him in the weight room underneath? No. He hit his shots. He made passes. He made some really nice defensive plays. So I just love him. I mean, I just think he's taken a leap, and who knows what's going to happen. Plus 42, I saw that as well. So that was great. Other than an ugly second quarter, I thought that, what you said in your post, big time defense in the third quarter, big time for sure. I mean, that's just beautiful Warriors basketball, and everyone's flying around and they're making it hard on the Clippers all night. So, I mean, I don't know how good the Clippers will be. I was really shocked when they got spanked by Utah in the first game as well, but it's going to be interesting. But just a great night, great start. Curious, JD, I know you said it's kind of a brutal road trip coming up, but I was going to try to be an optimist. Is it sort of the worst part of the road schedule in the first half of the season? Because if it is, I think that bodes well for us. We can get through it and survive. But just wanted your thoughts on that. Again, always great to hear you. Have a great night. Thank you, JD.
Yeah, thanks, Danny. Appreciate it. No, they've got a lot of, 10 of the next 12, as we pointed out. They've got another trip in the early part of December. And then, it gets a little lighter around the holiday. And then January, they're going to live at home and live in California. I mean, that's where they really get a breather. They go east right after. They're home before Christmas. They are on the road right after Christmas in the lead up to New Year's. And then they live at home beginning January 2nd. Their only road game between January 2nd and January 22nd is in LA against these Clippers that they play tonight. So they're going to get a ton of home games there. They historically have had a ton of home games in March. That's less the case this year, although at the end of the year, you look at where the Warriors make up for it. And at the end of the year, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's 7 of the last 10 at home. And, some winnable games mixed in there as well before finishing up. And it's actually a 7 of 8 at home. And then the final 2 are on the road in Sacramento, and they'll end the season down at Intuit Dome in Inglewood against the Clippers. So this is a daunting stretch, more so just in terms of, the amount of games and the amount of games so closely compacted together. But the Warriors have shown a propensity over the last couple of years to be up to the challenge and be just as good on the road as even they've been at home in some of these. So, last year they only won 24 games. I think they were 24-17 at home. So it was a pretty even split, 24-24. I think last year, if memory serves, I could double check that. So, this team getting off to a good start and owning home court, I think, is important. They need to get back to winning, 20, 27, or so. I feel like, 27 to 30 home games, and then winning, 20 to 22 road games. And then that's how you wind up ending up at 50 games. And that's what winds up putting you in position to maybe have a top 4 spot in the Western Conference. And all of these games are really important against these other teams that project to be good. I have not been impressed with the Clippers the first week. Now it's only a week, and like we were just saying, there's a lot of new pieces that have to get involved and reacclimated. Bennett Roth in the chat. Bennett, we're here. We hear Bennett. Cheers, brother. We here. I'm hanging on to it tonight. I'm not trusting it. I'm not trusting myself as I start flailing around here to knock it right onto the equipment. So I'm kind of holding it and hiding it a little bit here tonight. Pat H, chiming in. Good to see Pat. Saw JD leaving Chase, making the short walk from the media seat over here to Harmonic in Thrive City. So, good stuff from the Warriors tonight, and we'll see. Now they're going to be tested. I think the Denver and Clippers games were good tests the first week of the season. Now they're going to be tested by a bunch of road games, and we'll see. Young players typically don't play as well on the road. The attrition can start to set in terms of the travel with an older team, so how they handle this coming up. Again, winnable games, but how they handle this next 10 of 12 stretch, I think, is going to be important. All right, let's take a timeout. 808 KNBR, 415-808-5627. Still time for more phone calls, but we're going to dive into the YouTube chat in earnest coming up next, as it is Dubs OT with JD as the Warriors win this one 98-79. And we're talking about best Dubs coverage in the Bay. It's right here on the Sports Leader.
Live from downtown.
Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang!
This is Dubs OT with John Dickinson on the Sports Leader. Streaming live at KNBR.com and on the KNBR app.
So Harden back on the floor along with Leonard. Those have been the two bright spots. That's it offensively for the Clippers. Deep corner three, Moses Moody.
And I call that the Jimmy Butler effect. Just the playmaking, setting it up, Moody with that corner three, and allowing Stephen Curry to be on the bench, getting rest in these pivotal moments.
The Jimmy Butler effect in full effect for the Warriors tonight, leading there to the Moses Moody three, and the Warriors get the win 98-79. They do it with their defense over the Clippers to improve to 4-1. We're back here at Harmonic Brewing in Thrive City. It's Dubs OT with JD here on the Sports Leader. 808 KNBR, the number. Here to jump in and join the conversation. Golden State Lumber and Showroom text line via the phone lines as well. And it was fun to dive into the YouTube chat a little bit during the break. That's right. I hit the login, just kind of chilling here. We got Billy Joe from Alamo on hand. Big happy birthday to Billy Joe, one of our regulars, to come out and say what's up here at Harmonic. So we appreciate that. Talking a little NBA arenas in the chat. The guys, Robert Brown and others, Pat H. I mean, they know how to really get me to nerd out. You want to start talking about NBA arenas and ballparks and NFL stadiums and all of that. That's a quick way to get me off and rolling on a few tangents here. But we'll save the commentary for the air, and we'll get back into the chat maybe a little bit during the breaks. That's something I have said I want to do a little bit more of, is try to interact with folks that maybe we don't get to read everybody's comments regularly. We like to put a bunch of them on the screen and react to them here on this show, but try to dive into the chat a la Greg Silver here. And Greg Silver, by the way, actually, no, this was Austin Scott. Greg Silver had the note on Jimmy's 21, 5, and 5. And then the other part of that note from my buddy Austin Scott, first time a Warriors player has ever had back-to-back games with 20-plus points, 5-plus rebounds, 5-plus assists, and shoot 75% from the field, as Jimmy Butler did in a couple of games. And so, yeah, incredibly, Jimmy Butler doing that here the last couple of nights. So let's get back to the chat here. Still time for some phone calls. We may do a little bit of a lighter show here tonight just because it is so late, but definitely appreciate everybody here well past the 11 o'clock hour. 11 o'clock hour is usually when we're wrapping it up here at Harmonic, but with the 8 o'clock tip. But what'd you think of the 8 o'clock tip? If you're maybe coming back from the game, what'd you think of it just watching it on television? Not maybe as bad if you're home, but it is a Tuesday night to have an 8 o'clock start. I know I said to Papa and I said to Silver earlier, I said, hey, no complaining about it because the other time zones deal with it regularly. Even Denver, Utah, Phoenix, they'll get some games kicked. Maybe not Utah and Phoenix as much because they're not really national teams, but any of those 7 o'clock starts where they're playing or 8 o'clock starts in those cities. And then it happens a lot in the central and eastern time zones where, 8 o'clock start, 8:30 start, 8:45 starts for some of these double headers. So I think we on the West Coast probably shouldn't be complaining too much about it, but Drew Down's gun, 8 o'clock tip is trash as we get things tipped off here on our Kyle's Clicks first installment of the evening. Max Lopez post made some mistakes, but was helpful with the Zubats issues. Yeah, it wasn't a perfect game, but his impact was felt. And I thought Danny in Vancouver, made the point, like he didn't get pushed around. And I think that's the thing you wonder, like, can Zubats push Quentin Post around on the interior? Because Post is going to try to stretch the floor and keep Zubats out of the paint, where Zubats can really be a factor with his rim protection, and he can single-handedly clean off the glass. And so bringing him out a little bit, I think, negated some of the rim protection, and it also negated maybe a little bit of the rebounding, although I look up and he still ends up, 14 and 13. But, yeah, I thought it was a great night for Quentin Post. He was confident. And I'll admit it, I always will. I was skeptical of going back to that starting lineup that they used in Portland, but I think the Portland game was an outlier more based on the Warriors' energy level on the road, second of a back-to-back. They kind of sleptwalked through. It was kind of a rainy, dreary day up in Portland. Shocker. And, colder. I could definitely see where a team would have been a little bit sleepy in that one, having already played a couple of games to begin the year. Continuing on in the YouTube chat here on Dubs OT from Max, we go to Jimmy. This Clippers team doesn't look as dangerous without Norman Powell. Yeah, I may have been a little too high on the Clippers. I do want to afford them some time to let things shake out. But you look at the Clippers to begin the year at Utah, they get blown out. Then they end up beating Phoenix to bounce back in their home opener. And then they beat Portland in their second home game. And then they come up and they play the Warriors tonight. So they're 2-0 at home. They're 0-2 on the road, but they haven't exactly played a difficult schedule to begin the year. This by far their toughest game in the first week of the season. And yeah, the Warriors really took it to them, I think, for the most part. First quarter, third quarter, took it to them. Fourth quarter was a non-factor. Now, the Clippers did show a little bit of that old Clipper dominance that we've seen here the last 2 years on the calendar against the Warriors, but the Warriors much more up to the task. And yeah, I wonder if the Clippers have enough shooting on their team. Norm Powell's ability to shoot, ability to defend. I really like Norm Powell as a player, but yeah, they move on from him, and we shall see. He may be one of those guys that truly proves to be missed. Every time Brook Lopez shot the ball, I was like, thank you. Yeah, you never know. And, I think it was a question mark as it relates to Al Horford, and Horford was not good. Better in the second half, but not good tonight overall in his 20 minutes of play. But you look up, and, Brook Lopez, 0 for 4 from 3, 1 for 6. Overall, -3. Brook Lopez, you never know with some of these older players, you get on into the mid to upper 30s or pushing 40, and in a year, they could just have a significant decline. I know Brook Lopez was somebody on the Warriors' radar, as was Horford. They end up getting Horford, and so Lopez signed with the Clippers. And I may have been a little too high on the Clippers, but I do want to give them a little bit of time with some of their new pieces that have been added and subtracted to try and see if they can gel a little bit before I get too far down that path as to saying, hey, the Clippers are ain't it, so to speak. Erwin Kwong, great defense tonight all around, especially the second unit. Key stops, limited the Clippers' fast break points in the game. Yeah, the Clippers can get out a little bit. And again, I'll say it, I think they made the Clippers look old. I think that's the number one thing. Really made them take tough shots. I thought they did a nice job. Contested threes, 6 of 33 for the Clippers. Kawhi wasn't hitting. They kind of sag off Derek Jones Jr. and dare him to shoot. He was 1 for 6. Batum was 1 for 4. Lopez didn't make a 3. I mean, they were just ice cold at 18.2%. And the Warriors, they won this game in part based on the ability to hit threes and also defend the 3 ball as well. Let's get a couple of more here, and we'll get back to the phones. Niner Empire dominant third quarter Dubs back. I think it's starting to become a thing. I don't think there's much doubt about it. You look at what they did in the Laker game. You look at what they did against Denver. You look at what they've done. You look at last night and tonight. I think it's definitely something that you have to factor in. And it's the ability to kind of see what's working and come out on a given night, know who's playing well, know who's not, make a quick adjustment and get on a big run. I mean, we talked about the offense, which I think has been, the key. They were averaging 35 points in the third quarter here to begin the season, and they go 32-14. So they did it both ways to begin this third quarter tonight. It ends up being the difference in the game after they let that second quarter get away from them a little bit to fall behind. Robert Brown, Harden couldn't even get a basket in the second half. Yeah. I mean, Harden, I thought tonight looked a little, and he has those nights where he looks a little sluggish, like he's maybe not totally locked in. And look, if you can keep Harden from living at the free throw line, then you've got a chance. And only, I say only, but only 7 free throws tonight. Not a lot of free throws total tonight. How about 20 free throws total in the game. The Warriors shot 4 free throws in the game. Kuminga 0 for 1, and then Steph Curry hit the 3 on the 3 ball that he got fouled on, and that was it. But the Clippers did not live at the line. 13 of 16. Harden only 7 for 7. And again, the Clippers and Harden in particular are highly dependent on those. Let's do 2 more here, and we'll get back to the phones here on the Sports Leader. Payne, hot take. Don't think Clips aren't that good. West is stacked. Don't think the Clips aren't that good. Don't think the Clips are that good is I think what Payne is getting at. But yeah, again, I'm skeptical of the Clippers here at the beginning of the season, given their schedule and how they've looked in the games that I've watched them. I haven't watched every game. I watched back because I was just like, what the hell happened in Utah? And so I watched that game back a little bit. I didn't see Phoenix. I saw some clips of the game that they played at home against Portland. So I don't want to act like I've seen every second of every Clippers game. But the points that I've seen, they can run through some cold spells in terms of their offense, and I think that's something that might make them at a little bit of a lower level than we've seen the last 2 years. One more. And it'll be Diggum 117, 4-1 with 2 back-to-backs is a really good opening week. Yeah, I think it's a great opening week. I think 4-1 is a great opening week, and nobody cares you didn't see LeBron against the Lakers. And Denver and the Clippers have been 2 absolute Warriors nemesis in the last 2 years. I mean, they've been a nemesis, both of them. The 9-game streak that got snapped in April, it's the Warriors have won the last 2. But it's, I believe, still 9 of the last 11 in favor of the Nuggets. And now the Warriors with the win here, it's 7 of the last 8 in favor of the Clippers. So I think those 2 wins, if you had told me the Warriors had lost to the Clippers and lost to the Nuggets, I would have bought it alone in the first week. And, yeah, I think the Portland game was a schedule loss as much as anything. And as we talked about Friday night up in Portland, I don't think the Blazers – among the teams that we've seen the Warriors play, the Lakers right now are in big trouble without Luka and LeBron, obviously. Unless you're going to let Austin Reeves go for 50, 10, and 10, the way the Kings did a couple of nights ago. I know he had a big game last night, but Portland beat them. I think Portland is better than expected. The Lakers are in big trouble without Luka and LeBron. Denver, it might take a little time to get everybody acclimated as much as I like their offseason moves. And the Clippers, I think, have been the most underwhelming of the teams to this point that the Warriors have played based on what I thought they would be to begin the season. So I don't even think it's a really good week. I think it's a great week. If they'd gone 5-0, spectacular. But I think it's a great week to go 4-1. All right, back to the phones we go. Bruce in San Jose is next here on Dubs OT on the Sports Leader. What's going on, Bruce?
Yeah, hey, good evening, JD. Thanks for taking the call. Hello to everyone over there at the station. Just a couple quick things that caught my attention while you guys were while I was listening anyway. I didn't realize that it had been that long since the Warriors had not gotten a victory home or away against the Clippers. That's pretty ridiculous. Going back over 2 years. And then you also mentioned, I didn't realize the whole game, like I had the game on in the background, but I didn't realize the whole game had a lack of free throws. I was surprised that Jimmy Butler had no free throws because like he's at least, 5 to 10 for sure. And then, the Clippers don't scare me. Of course, OKC scares me. And since it's so early in the season, I'm more focused on football. I just checked the standings while I was on hold. I didn't realize the Spurs are 4-0, and I'm sure Wemby. I mean, has he been going off? Or I'm not trying to be the Warriors, but
he's been the best player in the NBA in the first week of the season. He has been absolutely dominant to begin the season, Victor Wembanyama, and they have looked and they don't even have De'Aaron Fox playing in the early going because he has an injury. So it's basically been Wemby and everybody else. They have been unbelievable to start this season, and Wemby has been dominant to start the season in a major way.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't realize all that. So yeah, I guess
they look like a playoff team. They look like I would not have put them in the top 6 coming into the year. They look like a top 6 team, and he looks like he might be the MVP of the whole league. If you take again, it's way too early. It's the first week of the season, but his numbers. I mean, he goes 24-15 in their game last night. You look at some of the other games that he's played to this point. I'm bringing up his box scores as we speak here. I mean, he against the Pelicans goes for 29-11 and 9 blocks against the Pelicans. So that's another impressive one. And then you look at what he did to open the season against Dallas. He had to open the season. He had the big game against Dallas. I'm fumbling through here on the box score, so I apologize to everybody. But he's been dominant to begin the year. Absolutely dominant. In Western Conference Player of the Week, all of that stuff.
Yeah. And then don't forget about KD. I know their record's only 1-2. But anyways, I always love the show. And then, I guess Wemby. I'm fearful of Wemby this year.
So here's the deal. I finally got it. Yeah, their opener at Dallas, 40-15 for Wemby. He has a 29-11, a 31-14, and a 24-15, and he's had 3-9-6. He's averaging 33 points, 13 boards, and 6 blocks. He's averaging that in the first week of the season. I mean, just absolutely absurd numbers for Wembanyama to begin the year for San Antonio. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it, Bruce. Bruce in San Jose chiming in here on Dubs OT. Warriors get the win 98-79. I was frantically going through the box scores, and I'm like, take a breath, JD. Let's just go straight to the game log, and we'll get all the numbers we need here. But yeah, Wembanyama's been an absolute freaking monster the first week of the season. Let's get some more chats here. Bennett Roth, why are we talking Wemby when we should be talking Pat Spencer? How about Pat versus Cam last night at the end of the game? That was something, right, Bennett? We should be talking more about Pat versus Cam playing their own little one-on-one possession at the end of the game last night. That didn't quite make the cut on Dubs OT here at Harmonic last night. Fitzgerald Brown, very nice win tonight. Butler did a great job leading the second squad while Steph was on the bench. Yeah, I think Jimmy had an underrated night tonight, and he did control that. The second, it wasn't the top of the second and fourth quarter groups that were bad. It was kind of the mid-second quarter group, really, that Steve Kerr went to. That was the only downer of the night for the Warriors. It was the group that it was Horford, Kuminga, Hield, Will Richard, and even Steph Curry was a part of it there for a bit. But yeah, it was that group got cooked there in the middle of the quarter, and even Draymond came in, and it didn't get much better there for a minute. But Jimmy Butler, top of the fourth quarter in particular, excellent job there. Warriors, as Rebel to Sounds points out, 24 assists for the Dubs. Clippers only had 10. Yeah, anytime you can make the Clippers even more isolation-based than they already are to begin with, you're going to have a great opportunity to beat them. And that is indicative of the quality defense. Because, one, you're not hitting shots if you're that low assist totals, but you're just not moving the ball at all. And as long as you cannot get crushed on the offensive boards, which the Warriors did not get crushed on the offensive boards, then you can more than make that work. So, yeah, and the Warriors, ball movement in a lower scoring game, impressive deal for them. Let's get East Oakland Zay. Not trying to hate on Pods, but when Melton is back, can he take all of his minutes, or can the rookie Will Richard take some now? Pods is going to play. Melton is going to take some of Pods' minutes. I think what people are missing a little bit with that is Melton. The guy who's really struggling is GP2 to begin the year, and GP2 really struggled tonight. I think Melton's going to take all of GP2's minutes, and GP2's probably not going to play a lot. But Pods is going to play. I thought Pods had a nice game tonight overall. He ended up being back in the plus on the plus minus. Plus 10, and I mean, you look up, he's 5 for 10, not a perfect night, but he had a 12, 5 and 4 game tonight. I thought he had that sequence where he had the chase down block on Chris Paul and then ends up finishing it with the clever layup reverse on the other end. I thought it was good that Pods showed he could do it tonight coming off the bench, because I had said, after the game in Portland and even after the game last night, I think it's better when Pods gets that opportunity. He is, I think, more impactful when he plays with better players. So for him to be able to come off the bench and still be a net positive, I think is important, because it's becoming pretty clear. And if you missed it before the game, Steve Kerr said it, and maybe we'll play the clip coming back here. Jonathan Kuminga is going to be a starter. And it's sometimes going to be at the 3 and it's sometimes going to be at the 4 based on matchups. And we saw that tonight he played the 3 because they went with Quentin Post. And again, I was skeptical of it, but Quentin Post did the job and was one of the Warriors' most impactful players tonight. It's probably a Steph, Jimmy, and Quentin Post night if we're going with the hockey style 3 stars. Who are the 3 stars for the Warriors tonight? It was Steph, it was Jimmy, and it was Quentin Post, who would be the number 3 star for Golden State with the plus minus and knocking down the threes and holding his own even against Zubac. So Pods is going to play. Can he play a little bit less? I think, yeah, he can, but he's still going to play. Douglas Mikes, I don't want to see GP2 anymore. Just play Will Richard more. Yeah, I think GP has struggled here to begin the year, and Will Richard has played pretty effectively when he's gotten opportunities, and Steve Kerr still tries to get him in a little bit, I think, in each of these games as a point to not maybe lose them a little bit in terms of having them get a little bit stale potentially if you wind up in a situation where the depth comes back, and you want to keep giving him a little taste of being able to get on the floor so he doesn't get stale, because he has been able to make a little bit of an impact, and he's unafraid. He got a few minutes on Harden and a nod, I think, tonight. It was a lot of Kuminga on Harden. Kuminga's offensive numbers were not spectacular tonight. It wasn't as Tim Kawakami, I think, pointed out, explosive Kuminga-type game. Kuminga had a lot of time on Harden tonight. Moody had time on Harden tonight, and Will Richard had some time on Harden tonight as well. And so, anytime you're going to slow down a player the ilk of James Harden, you want to make sure that you have multiple players that you're comfortable with on your roster with the ability to do it. Let's do 2 more. Erwin Kwong, Kuminga's 4 years equals his college development. Yeah, I think, maybe. Again, I don't know why it changed. We kind of spent some time speculating on that last night, but it's changed. And I give Kuminga the credit because he spoke to this last night. We played the cut. He looked in the offseason for ways, if he was going to be coming back to the Warriors, that he could help win and contribute to winning, was what he said specifically. So I give him all the credit in the world. I know that was kind of a debate on social media that I was mixing it up with some people today. To me, he's done the work. He's bought in. We don't necessarily need to get into the last 4 years at this point because he's bought in now. And it's to the point where, if Kuminga had the line that he had, the stat line that he had, in a lot of these games in years past, 9 points, you'd think he wasn't really an impactful player toward winning. Well, guess what? He had 9 points tonight. And he had 9 and 5. 5 boards, a steal, a couple of turnovers. It wasn't a great Kuminga at 4 of 11 shooting. It wasn't a great, explosive Kuminga offensive night, but he was still +9, and he was still +9 because he was helping out defensively, and his intent was there. He had the bad inbounds pass. One of his 2 turnovers was a bad inbounds pass. Immediately, he forces a steal off of that, saves the ball from going out of bounds. Curry gets it to, I think, Buddy Hield for a layup. And that is don't hang your head, don't sulk, don't think the only way you can make up for a bad play is by scoring. He did it with defense and hustle. And so I thought Kuminga was really good tonight. Again, I think Kuminga is 5 for 5 on the year in terms of games that have impacted winning. Now, the Warriors haven't won all those games, but he was one of the couple of guys that showed up in Portland, and I think he gets some added respect for that. All right, let's get one more before our next timeout. LM Butler is still the key player in the Dubs turnaround. starting from last February, I mean, no question, Jimmy Butler is the guy. I mean, the 23-8 to close it out, and now Jimmy Butler's back and playing, and they're 4-1. So, I mean, do the math on that. That's what, 27-9? That's a hell of a start. And then obviously the Warriors effective when Steph and Jimmy were playing together in the playoffs as well. All right, quick timeout. We're going to come back. We're going to do a quick sounds of Dubs OT. We'll play a couple of the best cuts from this one, and then we will do some fun with numbers and our final YouTube chat, Kyle's Clicks installment of the night. It's all straight ahead right here. Dubs OT with JD. We're rolling on from Harmonic in Thrive City on the Sports Leader.
KNBR presents the sounds of Dubs OT.
I can see the headline now. Kerr says Warriors better without Curry.
No class, no balls.
I want to get my joy back. I'm happy here, off the court.
Now here's John Dickinson.
All right, Warriors get the win over the Clippers, 98-79, the final. We're back here wrapping things up from Harmonic Brewing in Thrive City. John Dickinson with you here, 808 KNBR. Still time to sneak in some calls. We got more Kyle's Clicks coming up as well in the YouTube chat as the Warriors improve to 4-1. All right, we'll get through 5 clips here and a little bit more spread out in terms of these clips. We are going to hear a few from Steve Kerr, but tonight's game, a little bit about tonight's game, but there were some other ones, pregame, I thought, a couple of from Steve Kerr on Jonathan Kuminga. We teased this one in the last segment. This was Steve Kerr before the game talking about Jonathan Kuminga and what his role is going to be and if he's going to be a starter here moving forward for the Warriors.
Yes. Yeah. He'll start tonight and he'll be our starter going forward. He's been fantastic. And, last night we put him on Ja. Tonight we'll put him on James Harden. I think he's ready to take on that role defensively and what he's doing offensively, the decision making, the shot selection. You've hardly seen any of the, mid shot clock, 17-foot pull-ups. You're seeing him being much more purposeful, getting the ball to Jimmy, getting the ball to Steph, attacking the rim. He's really putting a lot of pressure on people. So, the biggest thing is the combination of Jimmy and Draymond and JK wasn't great last year, but because of all the improvements JK has made, his passing and the stuff I just mentioned, it's really clicking, and so we're going to stay with that.
So right there from the head coach's mouth, Jonathan Kuminga is going to be a starter for the foreseeable future. And then Kerr went on, and he detailed a lot of it in that clip, but he went on to continue to explain just why Jonathan Kuminga has been so impactful. And I think there was a key point to this that I wanted to react to coming off of it. But here's more of the head coach again before the game tonight, talking about Jonathan Kuminga and the way he's played here to begin this season.
Honestly, I think you said it in the beginning. I think it's just mindset. If there's no technique that's happening, that's been a shift. It's just a desire to go get the ball over and over again. And he's doing a phenomenal job of that. And it just changes our team. You can feel it. And then I thought last night he had several plays where, he could have taken a shot. Instead, he went dribble handoff with Steph, dive to the rim. He's dunking the ball. Like, that's the guy. So I could not be happier with JK's play, his approach, his communication with me, with his teammates. He's really off to a great start, and I'm happy for him, happy for us, because we're a much better team with him playing like this.
Yeah, and no doubt. And again, the intent has been there, and that was a question specific, to the rebounding in terms of why has he been a better rebounder? Well, it's not technique. It's basically effort. It's the desire to go and do it. And I think working on your passing is something you can do in the off season. It doesn't make for much of an Instagram video, playing one-on-one against, Mike behind the bar here at Harmonic. Like, it doesn't look as cool as that to work on your passing, but clearly Kuminga's worked on his passing, and he's improved his vision in terms of being able to see the floor and stay within the context of the Warriors offense. So credit to him. And yeah, Kuminga is not going to be somebody that Steve Kerr is looking to pull from a starting lineup anytime soon. So it sounds like, and look, the first 5 games are an indicator. I mean, it's Podziemski is the guy that's kind of in flux with, he might start if they're going to go small. He might not if they're going to go big and they want to play with Horford, or if they want to play with Quentin Post, who was one of the big players of the game in this one. All right, let's get a Kerr specific clip on tonight's game as he discussed Horford and Podziemski and Quentin Post and the impact that all 3 of them had against the size of the Clippers.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is going to be a pattern for us. I really want to just bring Al off the bench. If he's going to be 20 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes, I'd rather have him come off the bench and be able to close with him if we need to, like we did against Denver. So we'll probably go back and forth between Quentin and BP. For now, just depending on, what the center matchup looks like. I thought BP was great. I didn't play him enough in the first half. I think I only got him out there for 9 minutes, and we missed his playmaking. So I gotta do a better job of doing what we did in the second half, which was finding lineups that that could play make a little bit more. But QP was the story of the game. I mean, fearless out there, hit big shots, played great defense, and couldn't be happier for him or for us for getting Quentin late second round year and a half ago. He's turning into a really good player.
Yeah, and so Steve Kerr there saying it's going to be Pajemski or Post. Horford's going to come off the bench, and he got it in there. That's the one thing about the games where maybe Pajemski doesn't start. It might be a little bit more difficult for Kerr to get Pajemski the minutes that he wants to get Pajemski because the rotation gets shaken up a little bit. But I thought it was good for Pajemski to show tonight that he could be productive even coming off the bench for the Warriors, because I didn't like how it looked up in Portland, but I think that was maybe more about the second of a back-to-back and being on the road. And let's be honest, we talked about it a lot last night. The young players stepped up in a major way for the Warriors last night, and it was Kuminga, and it was Moody, and it was Pajemski, but they were able to do that because the OGs or the unks were locked in and engaged and making their own impact on the game. That didn't happen in Portland other than Steph. Draymond and Jimmy were no-shows in Portland, and that's fine. They're older players. Like I said, second of the back-to-back, young and energetic Portland team. But last night and tonight, the big three of Steph and Jimmy and Draymond were locked in, which allows for the other players to have a much more simplified game, which I think leads to being much more effective and impactful on the game. All right, let's get a quick Steph Curry cut, and then we'll finish up with some Draymond as Steph addressed the Warriors' scoring depth after the 98-79 win against the Clips.
Our offense is predicated on using me as shot creator, obviously on the ball, off the ball, but certain games, I'm not going to get a crazy amount of looks, but hopefully we are able to create beautiful offense that way, and other guys, benefit, and vice versa. Guys set great screens for me, get me open. So selfless basketball all the way around, and our job is not to obsess over the stat sheet. Can we win?
And that's exactly what I think we've seen the Warriors able to do here to begin the season. They're sharing the ball, and Steph's still going to have his moments, and we've seen Steph have some big third quarters to begin this season. But the slower start, get everybody else involved, and then have Steph come alive kind of as needed, I think has been a real template. And again, the depth, I think, for this Warriors team is predicated on the big three. I'm going to keep coming back to that, being healthy and available and locked in. When that happens, it opens so many doors. I'm still not sure, and we'll find out, because there are going to be games where the unks are getting their night off. I'm more skeptical of the younger players' ability to get the job done on their own, independent of the older players being tied to them. But, the last two nights are exactly how you want it to work in terms of the offense. And it's going up against, a couple of different types of teams. The Clippers are a great defensive team, still held the Warriors under 100, even though the Warriors ended up getting the victory. But, and the Grizzlies maybe less so. They want to get up and down and offensively put points on the board and try to win games with their offense. All right, our last one is going to be Draymond Green from the Draymond Green Show, his own podcast. And this is something we can get into a little bit here throughout the course of the week. And we can ask the folks in the YouTube chat. Listen to this real quick. And this is Draymond. Draymond says there are only, and I'm counting them out here, there are 5 contenders in the West, according to Draymond Green. Here he explains who the 5 contenders are in the West.
When I look at this conference, Spurs look good. But when I look at the conference, I think the true contenders, in my mind, when I think about this, is like OKC, yours truly, the Dubs, back in the Dubs Invitational. Denver, obviously Joker, champion, always going to give them a chance. They always going to be right there. Nightmare, matchup nightmare for everybody. They always, the way AG's playing, Aaron Gordon has looked good. They're always right there. You know, they're gonna make a run for it. And then I think you got to look at both LA teams. Like both of those teams need good breaks, right? Like you got Bron starting off the season on the bench, unhealthy. We just found out that Luka's going to be out for at least a week. You know, with some injuries. You know, and so they'll need it to break right. And then obviously the Clippers will need Kawhi to be healthy. You know, Kawhi is starting the season off strong. They'll need him to be healthy, right? Like, and again, we all need health on our side, but they're going to need health. You know, you need Kawhi going through the full season and being healthy coming out of it. You know, and you know, obviously Kawhi has struggled a bit. Not his fault, just what has happened with his body. And I know how much it means to him to want to make it through this entire season and make a run at it in the playoffs. You know, he hasn't quite had that opportunity in a while. And so I think with a couple breaks for them, couple breaks for the Lakers, they're serious. But those are the teams that I see right now out the gate where I'm like, yeah, I think those are the contenders in the West.
All right, so do you agree with Draymond Green as he lays it out? And he you know, well thought out, as Draymond always is. I don't know that the Lakers are contenders. I don't think the Lakers are contenders in the West. I'll actually eliminate them. The Clippers, I don't think the Clippers are. I wouldn't put the Clippers in legitimate contender status in the Western Conference either. But you know, it's interesting. I think Draymond's somewhat being diplomatic. Kyle, I want to get your take on this as well, but we'll get to the chat. But I don't know. I mean, I think the Warriors have shown themselves to be. If Kuminga is going to play the way that he's played, I think that definitely enhances the Warriors' chances. I'm out on the Lakers being contenders. The Clippers, maybe. And like I said, I was pretty high on their offseason, although they did end up, you know, losing Norm Powell. But to me, it's the Nuggets and the Thunder are the two for sure. And then these other teams, it's kind of we'll see. You know, never count the Warriors out. They believe they are if they can, you know, get enough from the young players and either Kuminga turns into the guy that he may be becoming here in terms of that turbocharged role player, or if things go in a different direction in the next 3 months, maybe he winds up being somebody that the Warriors trade for that player. But I don't know. Is Draymond being a little too diplomatic, Kyle?
I mean,
what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I would have to agree with Max Lopez in the chat here saying the Spurs are better than both LA teams. So yeah, the Clippers have not looked.
They are right now.
Yeah, Clippers have not looked impressive so far. Lakers have, like, I know they have LeBron, Doncic, and Reeves, but they don't have much else behind them, and their front court is brutal. But yeah, I mean, I would, and then I would think about adding in the Rockets, even though they don't really have a point guard right now.
I tell you what, I think I'd put the Rockets ahead. I'd put the Rockets ahead of the Lakers for sure.
Oh yeah,
I'd put Minnesota ahead of the Lakers. And as Robert Brown points out, I mean, Gabe Vincent's out now also, in addition to Luka, in addition to LeBron. So I don't know. I think the Rockets are right. And then San Antonio. I mean, that's a great point from Max in the chat. And Douglas Mikes, we already knew Draymond was going to include the Lakers, right? He's got to include LeBron, even though LeBron's not playing right now. But I don't know. I don't think the Lakers are in it. Like I said, the Rockets, I think the Rockets are still a player short. But I would also put the Rockets above the Lakers, clearly above the Lakers at this point. So, and Minnesota, I don't know. I just don't feel like Minnesota. And now Edwards is out. And yes, everybody that's pointing out Fred VanVleet. I mean, that to me is, I think the Rockets were a little short before VanVleet went down. I think without VanVleet, they're definitely a little short. Edwards out a few weeks. Yeah. And that's, you know, I don't know. Are the Timberwolves going to win 50? I don't think they are. I really don't. I don't think they are. But yeah, I think the Rockets are. But again, that being said, and right now the Clippers, the Clippers just don't look right. I think they will get on a run. I think Ty Lue's too good of a coach. I think they have a lot of talent, but the Clippers looked a little old. I know I've said it about 30 times tonight. The Clippers looked a little old. We talk about it with the Lakers. We talk about it with the Warriors. Do they have enough youthful athleticism and energy? I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure. So, but San Antonio, I mean, it's undeniable what they've done to begin the year, but are they contenders for a title this year? I would probably agree with Draymond on that note and say no, they're not viable title contenders. So yeah, it's interesting. I think we need to give it a little more time to kind of see how things shake out. But I definitely think the Clippers miss Norm Powell, who's on to the Heat. And, again, Norm Powell was great. He's a Warrior killer, Norm Powell. I mean, he from going back to the finals with Toronto, Norm Powell was killing the Warriors even 6 years ago. Yeah, Dallas, no chance. They're not contenders, not this year. They're a wild card team, but not contenders. I don't think at all. So, all right, let's get some Kyle's clicks, and then we'll do a quick edition of Fun with Numbers, and then we're going to wrap things up here at Harmonic in Thrive City. So final 5 minutes or so. So let's get to Victor the Predictor. Guess the Warriors are good. Yeah, the Warriors are good. Who didn't think the Warriors were good? The Warriors are definitely good. Without a doubt. It's just, what are they contender status, I think, is the debate there. Moving forward, FL Dubs fan, great to have you. FL Florida Dubs fan. Jimmy saw it was a night to give Steph a break, so he took over. Those Clippers geezers look older than us. Yeah, that's kind of my biggest takeaway on the night on the Clippers on the matchup, is that the Clippers looked older than the Warriors, and the Warriors were in the second of a back-to-back, and the Clippers were not. So that is kind of my takeaway as it relates to that. Digum 117. Does the pods block on CP3 mean it's time for him to retire? Wow, maybe. Yeah, that was not the most flattering moment for Chris Paul. I got to be honest. And then Pods goes down the other end and hits a sweet reverse layup like he's prime Goran Dragic.
Like he's the future of our franchise.
Like he's the future of the Warriors franchise. I don't know about all that. No, I don't know about all that. But no, it's a good thought. Estimated eyes. Kawhi looked tired of this-ish. Interesting. Kawhi looked tired. Well, look, Kawhi's got nobody to blame but Kawhi in terms of, I mean, he chose to be there and take the secret payouts from that now defunct company that was fake or whatever it was. Like he wanted to be a Clipper. So he signed up for it. He's got to lay in the bed that he made, I think, as it relates to that. But I guess Kawhi does give you a shot at being a contender but if Kawhi gives you a shot at being a contender because every 5 years or so he leads a team to a title, doesn't that mean James Harden negates it? Doesn't James Harden cancel out Kawhi in terms of that the contender status? So yeah, no, good stuff there. JMU 22. I think the baby Dubs have grown and are no longer babies. Let's reconvene on that Christmas night. Let's go back and let's reconvene on that Christmas night. Let's see where the young players are at. We need a bigger sample size. We need a few games where the vets rest. We need to see who's in and out of the lineup. We need to see if Kuminga can keep this up. Let's slow our roll on that until Christmas. Cool? Acceptable? Is that fair or foul, Kyle? Fair or foul on that? Let's wait till Christmas until we fully okay, fair. All right, let's do 3 more. AJ Cruz 75. I might want to hit that sack game and drag Tacky along just to dump beer on him. Careful. No, easy, guys. Don't be doing that. Careful on that one. We don't want anybody to get thrown out or arrested or anything like that. But no, come up the sack. I'll be up in Sacramento for the game a week from tomorrow night before heading over to Denver to see the Dubs and the Warriors in Denver coming up a week from Friday. All right, 2 more in the chat. Max Lopez, what is continuation? Steph Curry wants to know. Yeah. There were a couple of calls tonight that were interesting on that note. And let's get to it. Our Dubs OT comment of the night.
Now, time for the Dubs OT comment of the night.
Payne. We're some unks in this chat, JD. Fair enough. That's a great. Hey, but you can't be total unk status if you're hanging at 11:52 on a Tuesday night after an 8 p.m. game. I don't think you can be full-blown unk status at that particular point in time. But noted, Payne. Noted. All right, Kyle, let's do some fun with numbers, and then we're going to get the heck out of here on this Tuesday night and head on into our Wednesday, and we'll see what the Warriors can do on the road here the next couple of weeks.
This is Dubs OT with JD. Time now for fun.
I'm a fun guy.
With numbers.
No, I'm just having fun.
On KNBR 104.5 and 680. Streaming live on KNBR.com and the KNBR app.
We were talking about hot starts. The Warriors are 4-1, 3-0 at home, 1-1 on the road. Third straight year the Warriors have started 4-1. So I don't know if they're going to get to 12-3. I think they were 6-2 2 years ago, and then things kind of got a little weird. But this is the first time since the 2018-19 season that the Warriors have won their first 3 home games. So it's the first time at Chase Center that the Warriors have won their first 3 home games in any season. They also ended, as we talked about, the 7-game losing streak head-to-head against the Clippers. The last time they beat the Clippers was the first night at Dubs OT here on the Sports Leader, November 30 of 2023. Remember, the Warriors were making a big deal that night. It was 11-30-23. So Klay Thompson, 11-30, Steph Curry, 23, Draymond Green, and the Warriors got the win against the Clippers, and then they lost the last 7 consecutive. Warriors 1-1 in the second game of the back-to-back after being 2-0 in the first game of the back-to-back. They held the Clippers to 79 points, and Kyle Har, you asked for this, so I deliver this for you in our Fun with Numbers. Fewest points allowed by the Warriors since they defeated the Jazz the first KD year, December 20th of 2016, the last time the Warriors held an opponent under 80, and 74 on that night, 79 tonight. And the Warriors, with their fewest free throw attempts since January of 2016 when they had 2, the Warriors did the job defensively, holding the Clippers down from 3-point range, and the Warriors are 4-0 when they record more assists than their opponent, which they have done. Which they did tonight as well. Jimmy Butler, quick note on him, 21 points. He got to 16,000 for his career. And Jimmy Butler, second straight game with 25 and 5 for Jimmy Butler. And the Warriors, glad to have it as Quentin Post ended up in his second start of the year being a game high for the Warriors, a game high plus 34. That's going to do it. Big thanks to everybody out here at Harmonic and Thrive City. Thanks to Shay and Mike for allowing this program to continue as late as it has here after the 8 o'clock tip. But that's going to do it. We're back Thursday, home studio, Warriors and the Bucks from Milwaukee. And we'll be on right around 7:30 at the conclusion of that one. Back here at Harmonic a week from tonight, Warriors and the Suns going at it there. So for Kyle Har, and who else do we have tonight, Kyle, that I need to thank?
Anthony Garcia.
Anthony Garcia doing the job. The best YouTube chat in the biz. All of the callers and texters. I'm JD. We'll talk to you Thursday. Warriors win 98-79. Best Dubs coverage in the Bay is right here on the Sports Leader.